Alrighty. The more I think about it, people are just like songs. Are they though? Let's get some ambiance music while I explain what the hell is going on here. Alrighty. Let's crack you beautiful people. So chances are you are probably watching this as a past live stream, which is perfect. It'll give me some more time to really think about what I want to say here. But essentially, yeah, lately I have been posting a lot of streams, kind of just editing my own cover music and even audio for my YouTube channel with the self-improvement. And yeah, editing audio has been something I've done for a long, long time, as it comes with the territory, you know, when you do music channels and covers and all sorts of stuff. And so I thought it would be fun to kind of do a live stream where I kind of do my editing process, you know, online, so that it's content, and so that if I have to suffer, everybody else that follows my channels has to suffer as well. No, I'm only joking. I love you guys. But yeah, I thought it would be a nice idea today to actually like do a proper like step-by-step guide on how I mix vocals. So I'm going to take a cover song that I recorded today. I'm literally going to edit it from the beginning, show you my process. And just as a disclaimer, by the way, I should say this. I am not a professional mixing engineer. I'm nowhere near professional. I am totally 100%, and it may be obvious when you see what I do, but I'm totally self-taught. There's nothing that I've never done a course. I've never been to music school. I've done singing lessons and stuff, but I've never done like actual production lessons, so to speak. So everything you see here is my own opinion. I probably do a lot of things that most audio engineers will scoff at and say, what the hell is this kid doing? Probably none of it makes logical sense in the music world, but it sounds good to me. It passes for cover music. I wouldn't really recommend doing this kind of mixing for like professional songs. You should probably go and consult a professional mix engineer. But if you're just looking to record a cover here and there, and you know, just record a little bit of music for fun, even for demos, this is great for demos, right? This is kind of my very beginner's guide to mixing vocals. So with that being said, shall we jump right into it? All right, so let's bring this volume back up. Just want to think if there's anything else I got to mention. Disclaimer, I'm an asshole, so I might swear a few times. So not kid friendly, it's not PG. Although, I mean, I am mixing songs. I'm not playing games tonight, so I'll probably be a lot more family friendly than I usually am. So we'll try to keep it PG. But yeah, is there anything else I got to mention? I'm a beginner. This is mostly, like I said, this is self-taught stuff. So maybe you learn a thing or two. Maybe you don't. It's the risk you're going to take, my bro. It's the risk you're going to take. All right. Let's crack on with this mixing. So I'm going to give you a little listen to the song. This is just with a basic mix on it. Just so you can hear. This is not done, so we're going to obviously tweak it and stuff as we go. But this is just like basic effects and stuff, a bit of reverb here and there. And Dorian, I'll explain all this stuff as we go along. But basic kind of effects, a little bit of pitching here and there, just to make it sound like listenable, right? So this is what it sounds like. Y'all let me know what you think.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. Yeah, you're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa. I'll be fucked up if you can't be right here. I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, yeah.
Okay. The more I think about it,
Sorry, I just
people
wanted to-
are just like songs. Sometimes so I'll explain the intro in a second why I'm doing the weird monologue thing. But yeah, essentially, I just wanted to quickly check that it sounded right on the tube, but it sounds all good to go. But yeah, that's just like I said, with some basic kind of effects thrown on top, nothing crazy. And you can kind of just hear, obviously, we're doing Stay by The Beeps and Kid Laroi, so a very basic kind of song, basic piano. So obviously this will change a little bit if you have like an actual beat with drums, you know, guitar, kind of shit like that. So it always depends on the music you're working with. But this kind of gives you a good starting point. I'm not trying to teach you like copy these settings essentially, right? Because that just doesn't work as much as people want to believe. Like as you saw, you can pretty much copy and paste a basic setting and you'll get something decent. But the real magic comes when you start tweaking it. And this is what we are going to do with the song. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take off pretty much all the effects on that vocal, right? And the first thing I do with the song is, so by the way, just before we actually do the editing, these vocals that you see right here, right, these bad boys over here, this is the basic recorded vocal. I went through 3 takes of the song and I selected my best bits, right? I didn't want to bore you with an hour of that. It takes a long time. Essentially, I'm assuming that once you've got your vocal, that you've decided these are the best takes I have, this is the vocal I want to use and tweak, then this is what you have, right? Just so you know. So this I didn't just take this in one take. Like it took a few takes to get it really, really nice. At the moment, I am challenging myself though to kind of get the takes down in, like, let's say 2 or 3 takes max, and then I kind of select one major take, and then I'll substantiate here and there if there's like little tweaks that need to be made. But yeah, so essentially this is the final product. Now what we're going to do is we are going to consolidate this track, right? And you'll notice that I'm leaving a little bit of space in the beginning, and I'll explain that, and I'll explain why I'm doing that in a minute. So you're going to click on the side here, you're going to say consolidate this track from track start. Oh, before we do that, sorry, I need to make sure there's all the effects that you've got on the track are off and that the volume is back to normal, because yeah, if the volume's low, it's going to be low. So
when I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Basic ass vocals.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust.
Very basic, okay? Just making sure all the effects are off. There's no microphones going in. Looks good. Okay, so now that that's done, we are going to consolidate. And what that means is, as you can see here on the track, there's like little cuts. So you see there in between these two, there's a little cut. That means that this take is separate from this take. So we want to bring all these takes together as one whole take, as though we'd recorded it in one single go. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to consolidate that. From track start, boom. Usually that should all be on the right settings and stuff as well. You shouldn't have to tweak that too much. And there we go. Where is it? It's this bad boy over here. Yes, combined track. No, that's the beat. Where'd it go, bro? Oh, there, consolidated. Like, where's my track on? So you just minimize that. And here's our new track, right? All nice, all together. You can kind of change volume levels here, but usually if you had a good take to begin with, you don't really have to do that. And compression comes in later, which helps with that. Anyways, now that we have this track,
when I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
First thing we're going to do is normalize it. And what this does, and not a lot of people do this or like to do this, but I love it. Watch the waveforms, what happens now. Boom. So what it does is it kind of just squishes them all together. It's like a pre-compressor. It makes all the vocals kind of similar noise level. So you don't have to go in and tweak. I mean, you can see here, look at this part, like it was this little spike here. That's obviously a bit of an anomaly, and we can change that a bit later. But if we listen to it, it's probably not that bad.
Oh, whoa.
It's not great, but it's not terrible either, right? Like I said, we're not going for a perfect, fully mastered song here. This is just really as nice as we can get it for like a cover song, right? Excuse me. So now that we've done that, we're going to do something a little bit interesting, right? We're going to go into the song, we're going to right click, and we are going to go edit in audio editor. And what we're going to do now, if you hear very carefully, you might not hear this if you don't have headphones on, if you're just listening to this through your phone or computer, but trust me, this is happening. If you listen to the song, there's like a little bit of like static, right? Maybe you'll hear it now, listen. It's a little bit of in the background, right? And that is normal because every microphone has a bit of background static noise. When you want to do a mix, you want to kind of clean that up a little bit. So you don't want to make it too clean because it takes out some frequencies in the vocal. But if you come into this little nifty editor, right, and you find a spot, like let's say right here, there's not much going on. Obviously, you see right there's like a little bit of, I'm pointing to the screen as though you can see my hand. Dumbass. I'm imagining you here with me, bro. But if you can see like there on the left, there's like that little bit of scratchy noise. You don't want that. You want to get like just the static, right? So around there, it seems pretty clean. Maybe if we take that out. So here, now we played just this part. Oh, that's too short, actually. Let's expand that a little bit from here, right? That's a bit better. Very hard to hear, like I said, but what we're going to do now is we're going to select that part. We can visually see that it's not so bad. And then we are going to click, I think it's right click on the little toothbrush. And what that's going to do is just acquire the noise profile. And then what we're going to do is select the entire track, and then we are going to fix it with that noise profile. Now it'll show you where the level of noise is. See, it's like a very low ceiling, right? Then all I'm going to do is tweak the amount, and I usually don't put it more than half, like just under half, like 1.5 like bars, if that makes sense. You can see it visually there. And then you can even preview it if you want to just double check. Much better. You can hear
when I'm away from you.
much better. But you don't want to do it too much, because if you do it all the way here, you're gonna maybe you'll hear in the vocal. Let's hear.
When I'm away from you, I miss you.
Okay, you actually can't hear it that much, but it takes out a lot of the nice frequencies, and we don't want that. We want our vocal to be nice and full, right? So we're gonna put it just about there, and now we wait. Oh, actually, it's pretty quick today. Usually this shit takes forever. With the YouTube videos, when the vocal is like half an hour long, jeez, bro, that shit takes forever, right? Now the thing is, we can't just assume that it's been loaded up into the deck. What we have to do is take this little arrow, click it, and drag our new bad boy. Where are we gonna drag this thing? Let's just start a new track here. And there it is. So now what we're going to do is, actually, I'm going to delete no, I'm not going to delete that. I'm going to delete this first. No, I'm going to delete. No, what am I deleting? I'm scared, bro. You know what? Let me just be smart. I'll make that smaller. And then we're going to line it up. So that should be fine. Now we're here.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Perfectly lined up. Now we can delete this because we don't need it no more. We've used and abused it now. And then just to double check it, we'll listen to it with the music as well.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Yeah, perfect timing.
You're the reason I believe in love.
And at first, when you do this, you ain't going to hear a big difference. It's going to be like, why the hell did I just waste 10 minutes of my life doing that? But when you start adding effects, you're going to hear there's a massive difference, and it just sounds so much cleaner, right? And we like cleaner. So now we've done the boring stuff. Everything should be clean. Now we are going to go into the juicy part, and that is the editing. And like I said, if you really want to get intricate with this, we could have spent another 10 minutes here, 20 minutes kind of changing the volume level of that little, I'm pointing again, what am I doing? This little spike over here, right? This thing over here. We could have minimized that. We could have kind of gone into the ending of each verse. So you'll hear little sounds and breathing. We could have fixed that up. But honestly, like I said, for me, when you're doing cover songs, the more natural, the better. You don't want it to be super artificially changed. You want people to think that you are, well, not think, you are actually singing this cover live. I hope you are. A lot of these cover artists out here are just completely faking their recordings. For me, I used to do that. Now I really, like I said, I take one long take and I take the video while I'm singing. So I don't do the video after the song, if that makes sense. So this whole video is ready. I just need to decide on the vocal and then decide on the video that I took already and then put it together. So long explanation, but yeah, you want it to be natural. So for me, I don't touch too much. Your average listener just wants to hear how well you did the song. They're not going to be critiquing your professional audio level editing abilities. That'll come when you are a proper artist, doing their own music for labels and for proper release. That's when you worry about that shit. For now, we are basic bitches. So
when I'm away from you,
that is fine. Okay. Now we're going to assign that track to where we want to do our effects. So you go track 2, you bring up the mixing board, and there it is right there, track 2, right? I also just want to clear, where is that now? I always forget where this damn thing is. Channel routing, no? I just want to kind of clear the, maybe I don't need to actually. No, you know what? I don't need to, it's fine. Anyways, sorry. I was just checking something. So what we're going to do now is you see on the right side here, we've got all of our beautiful little plugins, right? We are going to go through each one step by step, and we're going to tweak the song until we absolutely love it so much we want to marry it. Hopefully. It might be trash and we start again. That's the risk we take. So the first thing is your auto-tune. And I know what you're going to say, bro, you use auto-tune? Oh my God, you're a fake, you're a fraud. Bro, think of auto-tune as ChatGPT, right? You can complain about it all you want. You can say, this shit is absolute rubbish. Now I'm going to have to everybody's using ChatGPT to write their essays and do work. It's so unfair. But the fact of the matter is, if you aren't using ChatGPT right now, right? I shouldn't actually say this. I'll probably get in trouble. But if you aren't using it, you're a moron, because you are literally giving yourself the biggest disadvantage ever, right? Same with auto-tune. You don't use it so that it's T-Pain, right? Let me give you just as a laugh. This is what you shouldn't do.
When I'm away from you,
Oh, it's not on. Sorry, I'm a dumbass. Here we go.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
T-Pain.
You're the reason I believe in love.
It's kind of dope, actually, though.
It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Okay, so we don't want to do that shit. That is dumb. Okay, you use autotune like you use salt, in moderation, right? Just a little sprinkle here and there. And what it does is it doesn't fix your vocal. If you're using autotune to fix your songs, you need to go back to singing lessons and figure out what's going wrong. Because so I'm going to use autotune now on the track. I'm just going to put it to medium, which is where we want it, okay? You tell me if you hear a major difference in the singing. And if you do, then I clearly need to go back to singing lessons. But listen just quickly to the difference of the autotune without it. And then I'll explain why we use it, right?
I'll be fucked up if you can't
That's
be
a
right.
terrible vocal to use it on. Say it.
I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could.
So that's with autotune, now without.
I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could.
I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but it's pretty similar, right? It's not like a huge difference. But you'll notice that in the first one with autotune, it tweaks it just a little. What it does is it just tightens up that vocal. Because you'll hear here and there was a little bit of an off key, a little bit slighting from the note. What the autotune does, if you use it correctly, is it just brings you back just that much on track. You'll hear, like with professional songs, that difference between something that sounds incredibly professional versus something that sounds pretty natural or like pretty basic, it's the autotune. And what it does is it just kind of sheens out your vocal so that it's just right? So like I said, don't use it like a moron, and don't look at autotune like the devil. It's very useful, and if you aren't using it as a musician, even if you're a cover artist, you're messing up. Okay, hopefully that's explained it. You can call me a fake if you want, but this is the way it is. Okay, so what we do now is we kind of just tune it to where we like it, where it just sounds natural, but also where it's kind of really kicking in so that the vocal is really nice and tight. So you'll kind of border on the side of like it's not natural, and then you'll dial it back a little bit. Let me just show you, right?
I'll do the same.
So too natural.
I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change.
Because now we can hear it.
When I knew I never could.
That's too fake. So we dial it back.
Find nobody else as good as you.
Bit too fake still.
Need you to stay.
Too fake.
I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else.
Probably tune it a little bit. So it's right in that borderline now of like you can hear autotune, but you can't. Because the goal is you don't want to hear autotune in your songs. That's just fact. You don't want to. If you hear it, you've done too much. So just about there.
I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that
Maybe a little
I
less.
can't find nobody else.
I like to err on the side of natural, but that's perfect. Right now, it's really just nice and tightened up, right?
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
And you can try this in different parts of the song.
In a way that I can leave you stranded.
That's
Cause
good.
you ain't never left me empty-handed.
Very natural, but just makes it just so much more professional. Moving on from autotune, the most controversial part. But I'd start with that because, like I said, if you're editing a vocal that doesn't sound right or tuned, you're going to be fighting a losing battle, right? First next thing, beautiful English, is your EQ. I use two of them, right? Subtractive EQ and added EQ, whatever, right? You get the point. Let me show you.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
What EQ does is there's certain natural... I'm not going to go too much into a lesson because, like I said, most of you kind of have heard of this already. EQ manipulates the frequencies in your voice. For those of you who don't know, you have a bass, so like the deep part of your voice. You have like your mid section, so like mid, and then you have your treble. I've sang too much today. That treble part of your voice, right? That is your higher pitched side. We all have a bunch of frequencies in our voice. This thing manipulates those frequencies as to get rid of the frequencies that aren't sounding so nice, but it also adds frequencies to like brighten up the vocal. For example, let's say, for example, you have a naturally like higher pitched voice like me, right? Or squeaky like. You want to be using a lot more bass just to bring out that bassiness in your voice, right? Not too much, but just a bit. And you also want to just sometimes, right? Sometimes you want to bring out the treble just a little bit because it, like I said, if you are a high pitched singer, the higher parts of your voice actually should be emphasized somewhat because that's probably your naturally best part of your voice. So you want to boost it a little, but not so much because remember, you are a high pitched singer. So those high frequencies are already quite high. You don't want to boost it like, I mean, listen how terrible this sounds.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Sorry, your ear's probably gone now. But you see what I mean? So you just want to boost it a little bit here. And like I said, I could spend another hour on this, but I'm not going to. But just so you get a baseline of what I do, right? You see, let me actually just show you on a new one. So this is one that I already pre-edited. That's for my voice. So you can, if you know how your voice works and you've worked with it enough, you can kind of set like a preset on your EQ that kind of matches your voice every time. But you'll still make changes here and there as you go along, depending on the song, right? So for example, let's bring up a flat EQ. So this one's not touched, right? I'm going to enable my voice so you can hear the frequencies, and you can actually see this is nice on FL Studio because there's actually a graph, right? No, I think it's 2. There we go. Okay, you might hear my voice in double now, sorry, but just to show you, see, as I talk now, you'll see the frequencies. I'm still pointing at the screen. What am I doing, bro? But as you'll see on the screen, not from me pointing, dumbass, you'll see the frequencies highlighting on the screen of this thing. Maybe I can make this bigger. Yeah. Let's make this bad boy bigger. Make the circle bigger. Ay. Okay. So now, I'm going to sing one note, and it's kind of going to highlight where the bass frequency is, right? So, when... See where my mouse is there? When... So, where... Oh, I just realized the pitch is on, so it probably sounds off-key. Sorry, I turned the auto-tune off. Where... So you see there where the bass is. That's where you want to kind of boost it, but not too much. You hear the bass in my voice is going up now as I do this. So what I like to do is just find where the bass is, like in that range. It's usually about here for me. I boost it a couple percent, right? Like let's say about there just to start. Then I find the highs. Yeah. So usually this is actually where the frequencies kind of end. So you'll see about there, right? I usually, not with this thing, I'll usually boost it like there. So now, if you hear the talking, it's a little bit clearer, okay? Same thing. What I like to do here as well, so this, like I said, the first EQ you want to use to either boost frequencies or subtract. Usually you should use this as a subtracting EQ, but I use it as both, right? Just because I like using extra things. But just a little bit here and there. But now I start to subtract, right? I don't really mess with the mid frequencies because, for example, this is a tip that most like engineers use. Works sometimes, doesn't. But usually there's like a boxy sound in a voice, right? And that's like a very annoying kind of like harsh, irritating, scratchy sound. What most people will do is boost this mid frequency. I'll try not to hurt your ears here. They'll like make it really thin, and then they'll go here, and they'll go... you hear there, it's very boxy. Sounds like I'm in a box now, right? Then what they do is they just bring that bugger all the way down till about there, expand it as much as they think they need, and then boom, they've taken out a lot of that annoying frequency, so the voice is clearer. Like I said, this is the basics kind of stuff. You'll have to experiment a lot with this yourself. But you'll take out a few frequencies. I usually take about 1-2 mid frequencies just to make it sound a bit cleaner. And then a big thing, and this is what I've started recently doing. You see this little bad boy over here, right? This represents your bass level. So you see as I boost this up, bassy, bassy, bassy. What we want to do is, you'll notice after the last like wavelength on the left here, where I'm pointing my mouse right now, this part is quiet. There's no frequencies being picked up. People can't hear these frequencies. But if they are left in the mix, they tend to make the vocal sound very muddy at times, which is no fun. So what you want to do ideally is actually take out that frequency altogether. If you do it too much, all of a sudden my voice starts to become very, very thin, but then we bring it back. So what I like to do here is bring it down a little bit. I do go to the type, and then I say high pass. Then I go order, steep 8. Because I don't want to take out too much. I just want to take out, like, I want it to stop past a certain place, right? And then I go reset, and it brings it back up. Now, I go, about there. What I've done here is I've just taken out all that shitty frequency, all that crap that I don't want in the vocal. And sometimes I'll do it with this as well, just to take out that really high-pitched kind of squeal. Because if I put it there, it's like, you can have it. See, it's too much. Usually put it about there. Cool. So you'll do that for your first EQ, just to take out annoying frequencies and boost ones that you kind of like. But don't boost too much, because what we're going to do now, let me just turn this annoying thing off, sorry. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying, my bad. What we're going to do now is on the second EQ, so I can, actually, I'm going to turn picture back on. On the second EQ, all I'm going to do here is boost general frequencies. Oh, I just turned it off. Sorry. Turn it back on. And I'm going to actually do this while playing the vocal itself for you, so you can hear what I'm doing specifically with this vocal, okay? Now, as you know, as you can see here, I haven't like taken any EQ frequencies out. I haven't subtracted anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just generally boost the highs and the lows to what I like. So for example,
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Doesn't need a lot of
Ain't no
high,
way
but-
that I can leave you stranded.
see how much clearer it became there.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way
No clearness.
that I can leave you stranded. Cause you ain't never
About
left
there.
me empty handed.
Just a bit. Then I'll do the same with the bass, because like I said, I like to add a little bit of bass to my voice.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
So come
ain't
to the
no
bass
way
line.
that I can leave you stranded. Cause you ain't never left me empty handed. And you know
See, now we can boost the whole bass, because remember, we took out that part earlier on that was like the cucky part of the bass. So we're going to boost it just a little, and that should be fine, right? And remember, this is not a step-by-step kind of thing. We're going to come back to these later on to tweak it more. But for now, that will do. Okay. Subtractive EQ, additional EQ. Right, now we get to the more fun parts. Now you can hear, like I said, it still doesn't really sound very mixed with the vocal. It's very kind of flat, but it sounds a little bit more polished and clean.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way.
And you can even listen to it a little bit. Let's listen to it for a minute, just to hear that it sounds nice and well recorded. Ideally, this should sound like a professional singer has been in the booth now with no mistakes, right? Which is not me. So this is the ideal version of your voice.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded. Cause you ain't never left me empty handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa.
Maybe I should have done some harmonies.
I'll be fucked up if you can't be right, yeah. I'll do the same.
Maybe I should have done the music video today as well.
well.
That sounds fine. Okay. Just fine. Greatness. Okay. Now we move on to the more interesting stuff. So what I like to add next is a limiter, or in other words, it's not really a limiter. I use the Fruity limiter, but I don't use it to limit. I use it for compression, right? For those of you who don't know what compression is, just a basic idea. Compression makes the loud parts in the song or how do I explain this properly? Compression essentially makes the level of the song in all places the same volume. So for example, if you look at the waveform here, this part here is a lot noisier than this part, right? And what compression is trying to do is make this part not like super loud and then the soft part's like super quiet, because then if you're listening to a song, you're going to be like, yo, bro, I can't hear what this guy's saying. And that's no good. So what it does is it kind of compensates by making the loud parts softer and the soft parts louder so that it's all nice and even, right? This is also very subjective. I know there's a lot of science behind this, but I like to I'll give you the best advice I ever got when it comes to music, right? And I heard this in a music store once when I was just learning how to like vocal tune and edit. And I was going through a lot of clipping, right? And that's a problem when you record way too hot or you record too loudly into your mic. You learn this early on if you don't want like shitty vocals, but you have to record quite softly because you boost it, as we're going to do now later on, right? So these vocals are recorded quite softly. Only about half of my mixer was used, like the level. Jeez, my English. Half the level, right? So I was having a problem with clipping, but the song generally sounded okay. And sometimes that clipping, which is like, it's like distortion, right? Sometimes that clipping actually made the song sound a little bit grungy, right? And I said to the guy at the music store, like, I'm having a problem with clipping. And he said, does the song sound fine to you? And I said, yeah. And the guy said, cool, then it's fine. Best advice I could ever give you with music is that if it sounds good to you, it's fine. Because remember, you're not making music to appeal to a bunch of damn scientists that are going to critique your method and your strategy. Obviously, like I said, the more you know, the better. But at the end of the day, bro, you're trying to make something that sounds nice. If it sounds good to you, bro, it's probably going to sound good to other people. And if it doesn't, you ask the other people what sounds good to them and then you learn. So if it sounds good to you, that's all that really matters. That's step one. So don't worry about like formulas. You could follow every step in the book. You could be doing what I'm doing right now and it sounds rubbish. So don't do that to yourself. Like try to actually have fun with this and enjoy what you make. Okay. So that being said, let's kind of work with the compressor a little bit. What I like to start doing, this is just baseline settings. What I like to do first is, so as I play it now, you'll see it comes up as a waveform on the compressor. I love FL Studio because it does that, just that, right? It shows you wave and like visual representations of audio, so you can see it instead of just hearing it. But like I said, don't be fooled. You should always listen first and then see later, right? Like as I said, it's about how it sounds. So let Let me show you the vocal wave.
You're the reason I believe in love.
Just take this off in
It's
case.
been difficult for me to trust. And I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way
So
that I can
you can
leave
see,
you.
let's pause it there. You can see the high like parts of the vocal there, right? There's little peaks. It's like a mountain. There's peaks and troughs, right? We want to essentially bring the threshold, which as you can see I'm messing around with now, kind of just like, I don't know if you can see it properly right now. Let me make it big as well. Sorry, let me make everything big. Bigger is always better, hey?
You're the reason I believe in love.
I hope not.
It's been difficult for me to trust.
Yeah, that's better. I can see it
I'm
nicely now.
afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
As you can see now, probably better, there's like a little blue kind of lines on the vocal. And what I like to do is bring that threshold down just above it. That kind of like evens out. See, now I'm essentially cutting off the peaks of the mountain and I'm forcing the vocal up so that it's kind of meeting at that nice midway line, right? This is very subjective. Like I said, go through it and listen. And if it sounds good, it's probably good, right? So now I've done that.
You're the reason I believe in love.
And now the next thing you want to mess with is the ratio. But I like to use the ratio when the music is playing. Purely because what the ratio does essentially is it kind of like determines how like evened out the vocals are versus how much dynamic range there is. When something's dynamic in a vocal sense, it's like this, right? When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been so it's like highs, lows, sometimes in a song you want that, but sometimes you want like in like a pop record, right? You want something to be just kind of same level. Do, 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 do. You want it to be punchy. So depending on how punchy you want it or how dynamic you want it, you want to play with the ratio there. See, this kind of squashes it down or lets it fly. Okay, so let's play with the music just to get a better idea. Oh, I've messed it up now. What have I done? Now I've lost it. Damn, guys, I'm useless. Yo, where's my song? Whoa, 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 whoa. Bro, I'm on the wrong thing. Hey, I was scared there. I was on my... I still am here. Why am I here? Hold on, yo, bro, don't freak me out like that. Where is this damn thing? Oh, God, I'm scared. Wait a minute. Where's my song, bro?
You're the reason I believe
Bro,
in
it's there. I just can't find it. Where's my damn
It's
song?
been difficult for me to trust.
What is going on?
And I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Okay, wait. Before you mess something up. Yo. Okay, hold on. Yo. See, shit like this can happen sometimes. So I'm going to open FL again. So the song was there. I just couldn't see it. It's because I've got two FLs open. One for the talking and one for the actual stream. My bad. Technical difficulties. Apologies. This should be it here. There we go. But where is it though? Bro, what is going on? I'm very lost right now. Is it on this side? No, it's not. Please hold while I figure out my life. I don't know what I've done. Try this one. Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off both. Okay, you won't hear me for a second. Let me just double check that I haven't lost anything here. So that's why I always save, eh? This is a great teaching point here. Always save your damn shit because you'll be editing for 3 hours and then this shit will happen and then you'll lose all your progress and you'll cry and you'll never want to do music again. But because you're an idiot like me, you'll come back. So, lols, bro. I'm getting rid of all these things real quick. That's I was totally going to mess with you guys and start doing something like this. It's going to go. I'm joking. I don't visit sites like that. Okay, I'm clean. I'm a good boy sometimes. Okay. So that's your warning there to save your stuff always, because something like that could happen and you could panic. Anyway, shall we get back to business here before I started acting like a clown? Anyways, okay, we don't need that. All right, where were we? Right, we were at the compressing. So let's listen to it with the music, and then that way we can use the ratio properly. Let's go.
When I'm away,
And now you can't hear what's going on. What the hell is going on?
I don't like this song.
Huh? Oh, wait, hold on. I know what's happening. Sorry. My genade, bro.
I don't like this song. When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Okay, so we're going to play with the ratio.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Two squash now, see?
In a way that I can leave you
Maybe 3.6.
stranded, 'cause you ain't never left
By the
me
way, look on the
empty
left side of this side here. You'll see that when I'm adjusting, it shows you exactly how many decibels you're doing it. So if you want to if you're a numbers kind of guy, you can use this to remember, right?
I don't like this song. When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I
So
can
the soft
leave
parts?
you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I know that
Maybe
I
a little
can't
less.
live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Okay, we're going to leave it at 3.5 for now. That sounds kind of alright. Like I said, we come back and we do this all over again, essentially, as we go along, just to check that everything's running smoothly. Okay, so that's limiter. Now we get to what we call the sound goodizer. I'm going to leave this one until a bit later, and I'll show you why, right? But I put it in the chain in this way because it's nice to affect the vocal early on before the prettier stuff like the reverb. But we're getting there now, okay? Now we're going to talk about delay. Delay is nice in FL Studio purely because with your delay, it not only gives you that little bit of an echo afterwards. So for those of you who don't know what delay is, let me just show you.
I don't like this song. When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed.
It's the echo, right? So delay is nice because it gives it fills up the kind of blank space. I'll show you maybe later on if I remember, if I'm not too old to remember, or not too old to forget. With delay, it just kind of gives it that little bit of extra like fullness, right? And I mean, even when I turned it on and off, listen to how louder the vocal went. Off.
I don't like this song. When I'm away, you're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust,
I'm going to turn it on now.
and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Much louder, as you can hear. So it gives a little bit of boost to the vocal, which is nice. So you don't boost your actual signal, so it's not super loud, right? I usually put the dry all the way up to full. This is kind of, like I said, this actually changes the sound, the volume. You'll hear now.
You're the reason I'm in love.
So this is like how
It's
much
been
vocal
difficult for me to
versus how much like echo is there.
And
But I
I'm
like to
afraid
put it full.
fuck it up.
And you can actually use this now with the music to kind of hear if that like da 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 da. So it's like on time, right? You need the music for this.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Oh, and you use the time here to kind of change the like I said, you'll play around. There is a science to this, but like I said, we ain't going into that today. Just play around with the time until you get it to a kind of echo that you like.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded.
I kind of like there, just for now, right? Then on your volumes, on your inputs and your feedback, I usually keep this at a like quarter, right? Just so that it's not obvious, because obviously now it's irritating as fudge. So you just want to keep it like there. So now you'll hear it's a lot more subtle.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been
You can almost not even hear it, right? You need earphones to hear it. But like I said, another probably one of the best tips I can give you in music. Not only do you want the auto-tune to be as kind of like subtle as possible, you want to make your vocal editing as subtle as possible. Because at the end of the day, when people hear it, they don't want to hear the song or your vocal and think, oh, that's really nice reverb he's used, or that's very nice EQ. You want them to think, wow, really nice singing. But to do that, you have to make the effects as subtle as possible. Like here's the baseline advice. Your audience shouldn't be able to hear that you've used effects on your vocal. It should sound that clean, right? The effects are there, right? It's not saying don't use effects because you need to. It says that the vocal should be so, like the effects should be so, like you should be guessing, like, did this guy use effects on the song or is it just like live, right? That's how you know you've got a good song. You don't want to hear, like, as much as you can take away. Go that way. So less is more, essentially. That's the lesson I'm trying to leave you. So we want to get it to a point where you can kind of hear it in the background, but man, it's very hard to hear.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, cause you ain't never left me empty-handed.
You might even think now and think, well, there's no difference. But watch when I turn it on and off. You'll hear there's a massive jump now.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust.
On.
And I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
Massive difference. Okay, massive difference. So, cool. That's delay. Like I said, we're going to come back to it, but that's just kind of how to get the bass line done. We're actually almost there. So we're almost through all of the stuff. And then after we've covered all the basics, then we're going to come back and we're going to mix together and get it just sounding perfectly right. Okay. So delay, reverb now. Now this makes the song this makes the vocal really blend into the song nicely, right? Your reverb is there to kind of, it's the echo, but it's not, like I said, let me just show you. So it's so obvious when you hear it, right? Better than me taking 10 hours to explain it. Here's what reverb sounds like.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust.
It's like if you're in a cave, right? It's the same thing. If you're in the shower, that's why people love the way they sound in the shower, by the way. It's because there's a lot of reverb. There's a lot of echo going on. It's the acoustics of the room, so to speak. This is a natural putting you in the shower effect.
You're the reason I believe in love.
But then again, you could overdo it and it sounds like this.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust.
Maybe as a choir this works.
I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up.
But in a song, that's not going to fly. So you want to bring it all the way down so that it's subtle, but it's just mixing nicely with the vocal. And I'll show you what I mean by that. When I say vocal, sorry, I mean mixing nicely with the backtrack. Here's what it should sound like.
You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa.
Okay, so again, you may listen to this and think, well, what's the difference? Again, this is how it sounds with it and without it. It's a massive difference, yeah.
Fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, cause you ain't never left me empty-handed.
With it on?
And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay.
Could actually put a bit more on it, actually.
Oh, whoa.
It just blends the song nicely. So suddenly it's not just music, vocal, it's song. This is what really kind of gels it in together. But you've got to be careful with reverb, because if you use too much, you can sound as though you're drowning in the song, which is not good. You want it to just kind of fluff out your vocal. So yeah, there's a few main things I use with reverb. The big one is the wet signal. Fellas, how high on the scale? Are you doing a good job here? I'm not talking about music, in case you missed it. I'm going to get demonetized one day. I'm not going to have a career in music or anything PG related. So you use the wet signal to fluff it up a bit, make it a little wetter. So weird. Anyways. So now we're in the pool. Now it's dry. So wetness, dryness. Okay. So that's kind of on the lower end. And then I also like to use the damp. Oh, why is reverb so sus? Damp signal kind of, it adds to the wetness, but in a bigger way. So like I can put the wetness all the way up, but as soon as I take the damp off, listen. Fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded. Very dry, but if I put it all the way, never left me empty-handed, and you know that I can't hear anything. So I like to usually put it at about quarter. Like I said, play around. That's how you're going to learn the stuff, just playing around. bring it down, but there, and then the I think it's I don't even know what that means. I'm stupid. I do know what it means. This is the decay, right? So this is adding almost to the delay. So you'll hear as I boost this up, there's a delay in the reverb versus like the delay gets cut off. So hear me out.
Fuck it up, ain't no way.
Still going, but if you turn it off, done. See, so this is how long the reverb lasts. If you boost it like that, it's just going to be terrible. So you just want to put it like less is better. But it's nice to have that little bit of a fade off, right? Because I don't know if you can hear that. That little fade off. It's beautiful. I love doing that. Just like that, see? So yeah, decay, dampness, wetness. Let's not talk about that again. Let's move on. Oh, I've just messed it up. Oh, where's the reverb going? Oh yeah, I took this out. Sorry, let me just get rid of this quickly. Don't need that anymore. That was the explaining. I learned something. I even learned something today. If you scroll on your mouse and you do that, watch what happens. Oh, how nifty is that, eh? It kind of like scrolls the effect up and down. Good to know. Good to know. So let's scroll that bad boy up. Okay. Delay, reverb. Wasn't the delay before the reverb? I can't remember. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Okay. All done's. Like I said, there's so many things you could add, but this is the basic kind of effect chain that I use. Now we come to the cheat code of my music, which is Soundgoodizer. You may have heard about this thing, but it literally is what it says in the name of this plugin. It makes shit sound good, and I'll show you why. What this does is essentially it is a... What's the right word? They talk about this thing in a specific way, but what it does, it just adds richness to your voice. It makes it thicker, juicier, more delicious. And you'll hear what I mean now. So we're going to go to the part of the song. I'm going to play without the Soundgoodizer, and then I'm going to play it with it.
Way that I can leave you, way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa.
Off.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Maybe not as prominent without headphones, but man, this thing is a lifesaver, and this makes your music sound dope. I don't know if it comes with FL. Most of these, actually not even most, all of these plugins I've used, by the way, are standard FL Studio plugins, all from the software. So you don't need to get anything else. This bad boy, I think, is an external download. But if you know where to go, you could probably find it, right? I'm not going to say more than that. You know where to find it, right? This you might have to install as a plugin. But Soundgoodizer, I use this for mastering as well, which is something we won't do in today's video. But man,
way that I can leave you stranded.
And there's different settings. So A is usually the best one for vocals, but like listen to the different ones.
Way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay.
I think the reason I like A so much is because I think it's naturally bassy, and it's like bass and treble, which is what you saw me do on the EQ. It kind of plays on the right frequencies for my voice. But for your voice, C might be the right answer, or D. So this is a multiple choice test, right? If you're writing your SATs, maybe the answer is different for you, but for me it's A, right? Play around with it. Like I said, that just adds... Let me actually play it with the music. You'll hear the difference. Let's go to the nice soft parts for a change of scenery, right? Let's travel this way to this song. Travel on to this path. All right, hear it out.
I'll be fucked up if you can't be right here. I'll do the same thing
Off.
I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never
Beautiful,
could.
man.
Know that I can't find nobody.
And you don't have to add a lot, just like a quarter, about a quarter, maybe a bit more. I mean, listen to the difference in that, bro. Like, without it on,
I'll be fucked up if you can't be right here. I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never
like
could.
professional
Know that
now.
I can't find nobody.
that just adds just like the autotune, actually. It's very professional kind of sheen, right? And boom, we have the basic, I mean, honestly, just like that alone. Now we're going to go in and tweak it. Now, I don't think, I might even cut the video off here because I don't want it to be too long. But just listen to this shit without any tweaking. This is just the standard stuff that I've done, as you've seen me do in the last, I don't know, how long have we been streaming? 49 minutes, not bad, not even an hour. So listen to what we've gotten in an hour. And this is obviously quicker when you're not talking a bunch of shit the whole time. When you do this yourself, 20 minutes tops. 20 minutes, boss. 20 minutes.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa. I'll be fucked up if you can't be right, yeah. I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. Need you to stay. Oh.
Question that I have for you is, could you hear any of the specific effects that we used? Right? And maybe a little bit. Like I said, that's where the tweaking. You saw me now. I was like starting to tweak stuff, and that's what I do. I'll sit here now for another hour and just tweak this thing. But I'm not going to bore the crap out of you. That's what I do now, just to get it really perfect. This is what takes me the longest when it comes to these kind of things. But I mean, just can you hear any real reverb sticking out, or any real sound goodizing, or any delay?
You know that I can't live without you.
Maybe a bit of delay is a bit more prominent there, but I mean, it just sounds normal, but it sounds professional, and that's all you really want to go for here, right? That you could honestly now, my friend, go file, export, wave, MP3, and boom, call it a night. You've got a cover. Literally, it's that simple. But like I said, this stuff took me years to kind of figure out myself. If I had a teacher, this may have been a little bit quicker. But you could literally throw that on and it's good to go. But like I said, as a professional and somebody that really wants to take music seriously, and I hope you do if you're watching this, take it seriously and sit down now for another hour, tweak it out and stuff, throw it into your mastering track, and then go and master it. That's a whole new video we might do. We'll see how this one does. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up, right? So that is the song. I hope that you guys learned something, and I will be back doing more streams like this, because like I said, if I have to suffer doing my songs, y'all got to suffer too. That's just the way it goes, right? So yeah, I hope that you guys learned something and enjoyed it. And yeah, if you like this video and you found value, I'll do the whole basic ass YouTuber thing now. Drop me a like, brother. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe tune on the the bell notifications. I'm a shitty YouTuber, bro. I don't even know what these things are. But yeah, subscribe and keep checking in for more. I post covers pretty much weekly now. We're taking music quite seriously this year. So yeah, hope that you enjoyed. To cut us out the video, I will play the song one last time so you can hear it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Miss your touch.
You're the
With some ad-libs.
reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust. And I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa. I'll be fucked up if you can't be right, yeah. I'll do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay.